Good morning. I'm out on my daily ride, getting my my morning cardio. It's 10 to 9 a.m. and I'm off Royal York. I'm just Royal York's right here, and behind me is a parkette named after Douglas B. Ford. Now, people from Toronto may not know who that is, but they certainly know the name, and people from this area certainly know the whole family, because this is what is considered Ford Nation. It consists of the patriarch of the family, Douglas Ford Sr. He was a businessman. He opened up Deco Labels. It's a label printing company in Etobicoke back in the early 60s. And he had, I believe he had 4 children, 2 of which followed in the father's footsteps as a politician. Doug Sr. was a member of Provincial Parliament, I don't know, back in the 80s or 90s, I'm not exactly sure. And subsequently, his son, Rob Ford, and Doug Ford became politicians in Ontario as well. Rob Ford holding the position of Mayor of Toronto and councillor, Doug Ford being a councillor, a city councillor. Then he ran for mayor, lost against John Tory, then became the leader of the Provincial Conservative Party. Then he became Premier of Ontario. So for people that don't live in Canada, what an MPP is, that's a member of Provincial Parliament, or MLA, that's a member of Legislative Assembly in other provinces. It's raining out a little bit today. And so a premier is basically the counterpart to a governor in a state, if you live in the United States. He's the head politician in our province. So yesterday, Pierre Poilievre, who is our official leader of the opposition, he's a conservative. The Liberals are in charge in Canada, and our Prime Minister is Mark Carney. He's a globalist businessman that was installed to be our Prime Minister. Very crooked, very shady. So Pierre Poilievre, who is a career politician by all accounts, he's who I support. And in comparison to someone in the United States, it would be like a Nancy Pelosi, a Hillary Clinton, most recently Kamala Harris, someone that is vying for the presidency, but in Canada it's a prime ministership. So yesterday, Pierre Poilievre won his by-election riding in Battle River, Crowfoot, and that's in Alberta. So back in the election in April of this year, Poilievre lost his seat in Ottawa, Carleton. In 2023, they switched, they incorporated, I believe, Canada in Poilievre's riding in Ottawa. So when the elections came around, he had a much broader liberal base voting against him. It's all by design to oust him. So on that ballot, in the federal election, on that ballot, I believe he had about 200 people on his voting card. 200 people on one individual riding's voting card, okay? It was like 7 feet long, the voting sheet. So Elections Canada allowed that. There's some gender confused person that is leading a group that puts as many people as they can on conservatives' ballots. So in Battle River, Crowfoot, where Poilievre won, and he won by a landslide, he garnered 80% of the vote. I thought they were going to rig that out there too, and they did their best. So out there on the ballot sheet, they had 213 people vying for that riding. So that's unheard of. It's ridiculous. Elections Canada allows this because they're liberal. They're all liberals, all fixed. And the same gender confused individual, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, I really don't. I've seen him on liberal state-run media spewing his bullshit. But anyhow, yeah, he won. He won by a landslide. So the same day, which was yesterday, the elections out there. So let me back that up. So Poilievre is allowed to go back into the House of Commons because he regained a seat. If you don't have a seat in a riding as a federal politician or a provincial politician, you can't go in the House of Commons and debate. In Canada, our parliamentary system is different than the US, but anyhow, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. So he's allowed to go back in when our parliament reconvenes in the fall. They get a lot of holidays up here, politicians, a lot. So that's good that Poilievre's back in there. He's an intelligent guy. He lends a voice to common sense causes. Right now in Canada, we have zero common sense. Zero common sense. It's insane up here. So getting back to why I'm here today. Douglas Ford Sr. had a son, like I said, named Doug Jr. On the same day that this election is going on out west, Doug Ford meets, I believe in Ottawa, with our Prime Minister, Mark Carney. Now bear in mind, that would be like in the United States, that's like a Democrat and a Republican meeting. Doug Ford, not this one, but the junior, he's passed on. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Doug Ford Sr. has passed on. Rob Ford, the old mayor of Toronto, has passed on, and their mother has passed on, and they're just buried not too far from here. And I have no problem with any of them. Respect to them, no problem. But it's funny, on the same day this election's going on, old Dougie Ford, who is a liberal in conservative clothing, goes and meets with Mark Carney, I believe in Ottawa. Then afterwards, I haven't seen any interviews with Doug Ford being interviewed about the meeting, but I've seen a brief one with Mark Carney, and the reporters were asking questions about the meeting, and it's the same old rhetoric where, oh yeah, we're working to make the country better, we're working for better trade between provinces. I didn't hear any mention of legislating tougher penalties on crime. I didn't hear any about that, but I'm not saying that didn't happen, it's just I didn't hear it. So now people are saying that Doug Ford, the Premier, is going to be vying for the Conservative leadership. I believe it comes up in November, and if it doesn't come up in November, it's sometime maybe early in the next year. So Doug Ford has never publicly endorsed Pierre Poilievre and anything that Pierre Poilievre has done. Doug Ford is too cozy with the Liberals. He is a liberal. He is a liberal, and that's how the politics in Canada are. You either got liberals, i.e. communism, socialism, Marxism, however you want to call it. Then you have conservatives, which, you know, unfortunately toe the liberal line. We need someone like, and people in Canada associate Poilievre with Trump in the U.S., and that's complete nonsense. You know, Trump is Trump, Poilievre's Poilievre, but that's what they got to do. They got to keep the scare tactics going up here in Canada to the sheep, because the sheep can't use critical thought to make up their own opinion of Poilievre. They say, you know, anyhow, they just slander him, whatever. Now you could say I'm slandering Doug, I'm slandering Mark Carney, and yes, I am to an extent, but I used to like Doug at one time when he became Premier of this province. I liked him. I even got a picture with him, and I've actually known Doug for a long time. I'm not going to get into that, but Doug always hasn't been above board, and I think he's reverted back to his old ways, and I don't think he wanted to do that. I think he had the intentions to do well from the onset, but they got to him. And what do I mean by that? They made him an offer he couldn't refuse. They had dirt on him. The parts of the machine that he's running are too big for him to handle. So he's just towing the line, and he's towing the liberal line, and he's going around telling news outlets, state-run news outlets, which are paid extensively by the liberal government to the tune of billions of dollars every year. He's telling them that Mark Carney's doing an awesome job. Well, I don't know where this awesome job is. I don't know one thing that Mark Carney's done other than take vacation, hug some gay dude down that's half naked down at some pride parade, wherever that pride parade was. I think he gave him an old reach around. I don't know. That's the only thing. And he cut the bridge to Prince Edward Island from $25 or $20 to $10. That's all I know that he's done. Pierre Poilievre posted something yesterday on his official website, whereas since Mark Carney's become Prime Minister, $63 billion, that's with a B, dollars, have left Canada or have been not realized in investments in companies coming here. And I totally believe that. This country, I'm a low-level bottom feeder. I see it on the streets. This country is failing and failing fast. The desperation in people is at an all-time high. You know, I don't go downtown Toronto too much, but when I do go down there, it's sporadically, or taking the public transit. You know, the homelessness, the drug epidemic, the mental health crisis, which all ties in, right? If you have no money, if you have no place to live, you know, it's gonna play games on your mental health. So with people that have no vision for a future, they have no hope. Like the young people coming up today, you know, the likelihood of them buying a house or, you know, even affording a down payment is slim to none, unless you have, you know, support from your family, financial support, and you know, all around support. You're not going to get into a house, and even to rent an apartment is, you know, it's astronomical in price. So I'm glad, in closing, I'm glad Pierre Poilievre got back in. Hopefully they can force an election. Hopefully the Conservatives get in and can stop this insanity. But I'm not holding my breath. The way our system is geared up, it's geared up to put people like Pierre Poilievre and myself backed into a corner. But the good part is there's more and more people like me speaking up. So anyhow, if you have any questions or concerns or something that you'd like to touch on, just put it in the comment section and I'll get back to you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks. How you doing, buddy?